I don't see you. Maybe you see me. And we are back with On the Group with Jineea. And we're talking culture. We're talking everything our community today. Okay. So before we go any further, I want to talk about something that foundational, my book. So my book, you see it in the background, my book, Follow the Leader, will be out 2026. Long time coming. So this book is special to me, and it'll be my first published book, and this is a compilation of articles that I did for Black Press USA from 2012 to 2016, organizing the culture. And the reason why it's called Follow the Leader, because everybody is following the leader, and that leader happens to be me for right now. Okay, I wrote this because I kept seeing the same cycles. Now, the book, again, and it's centered around 2012 to 2016, all the articles I wrote about our community and what our community needed to do. And basically, the update is how the community responded and how we are doing now, which is great because we are doing very well. And I bet on the community, and the community backed me up. So thank you. I appreciate that. So now, kids following the wrong influences. Okay, so we see out here Krishan Rock and Blueface, another rapper that got out of jail. They put all the rappers in jail to make sure that we understand what culture they come from, right? All the rappers in jail. So Blueface had a son with Krishan. Now, Krishan's son is visibly disabled. Okay, he's not talking. He may be 2 or 3 years old. He's not walking. He's just kind of rocking back and forth and going along with the ride. So Krishan is trying to carry this baby everywhere with her to a party and everything like that. But she knows in her heart why this baby is disabled. And we watched her have this baby. We watched them. We publicized this. So my question to you is, if the media outlets didn't publicize and didn't follow Blueface and Krishan Rock around for 2 years, would this baby be in the condition that this baby is in? Real talk. Okay? This is what we've got to be real about. The part that we play. We play a part in everything that we do. Kids following the wrong influences. So now, how many young girls are going to follow Krishan Rock and say, I can drink? She's on live. I can drink, I could just abort the baby. I can drink while I'm pregnant. Well, she got the reality, ladies and gentlemen, that she was looking for. And now she has a child. And now she's saying, I wish I didn't have this child, because she's mad that now she held on to this baby until Blueface got out of jail, hoping that they could, be happily ever after, because she knows deep down in her heart she done been with too many men. And I know that she hopes that her baby father, I'm sure that any woman that has a baby, she hopes that she's going to stay with that baby father. That's why she had the baby. But ladies, that's not how this is going to work. That's not what's going to help you, ladies. Okay, chasing behind these men that are not ready to have children, and they're ready to, okay, well, maybe they are ready to have children. They're just not ready to get married to you. They want your good looks. They want the baby. And then once they have the baby, they're done with you. You notice that every time that we see this whole love affair, and 2 people have the baby, and then they're broken up because of the baby. By the time the girl didn't even get over postpartum, right? So we have kids following the wrong influences. These are our kids. So what are we doing? So everybody wants clickbait because they're making money, and people that want the weirdo stuff because they're going to do the weirdo stuff. Krishana's running around with her tooth out because she wants to make money. How does that work? Okay. Women and men struggling to find identity. And that's where we really are, people. Our women and men are struggling to find identity, and they're running around acting like they got it. Running around acting like you got it going on. Running around like this is okay. And we've got to stop and be real about ourselves. This is the urban reset. We've got to be real and true to ourselves. When is the last time that you did a G check on yourself and seeing if that you were true with yourself? When is the last time you did that? Because I don't think that you've done it. Because the way that people are going right now, the way that they are acting right now, I don't think they're G-checking themselves. And then communities repeating the trauma. So let me tell you a little story about when I worked over at the Boys and Girls Club. So the Boys and Girls Club, and most Boys and Girls Clubs around the country, are in neighborhoods that are low income neighborhoods where kids need somewhere to go. And it's great because it's their way out, right? So I worked at this Boys and Girls Club, and over the years, I saw many, many people lose their friends and lose lives, right? So these young kids that are up to 18 years old, I want to say that I was there for 2 years, and I saw at least 10 kids die or heard about, at least. And I'm saying that lightly. I'm talking about where kids saw their friends and their friends' parents get shot in the head in front of them. And, so we are repeating this trauma. So we talk about, why are there killers? Why did we just see at a kids party 4 people dead, a mass shooting? Why did we just see that? Why are we hearing about that? How is that possible? It's possible because these kids that we're referring to are kids that saw this stuff when they were young, that made their heart cold, that when they've seen the death and their pain and they don't go to therapy, they're not like the 911 kids still in therapy 30 years later. They're not like them. They don't get therapy. They're wiped under the table. Oh, that's too bad. I'm so sorry. Because it's normal. So if it's normal for guns and people to get shot and people to get stray bullets, then I'm going to become a piece of that. So we have to reset and stop that. We have to care enough about one another. Now, the problem is the kids that lost their brother, that got a forever, I will avenge my brother's murder, right? Those kids, because those kids are out there. We've got to grab a hold of them. We've got to show them the right way. And this is why we have to focus on education and focus on being smart. So I need all my celebrities. I need all my bigwigs. I need anybody that is hearing my voice right now to dedicate their time to a young person and to loving on a young person and showing them a different way. Like we had, again, bring up Jim Jones. You got Hocus for Fifth in the Bronx. He put down his flag. Now, a lot of people don't like the term dropping your flag, but he dropped his flag because he saw how the things that he is doing is hurting other people, other kids. So he put down his flag. Then Jim Jones goes, oh, now I'm not putting down my flag. I don't think that he has to put down his flag. Jim is talking about, I'm a leader and I can't put down my flag. I mean, what are we saying? So we're saying that you're condoning some more kids to die? some more kids to misunderstand what this gang thing is? Is that what you're saying when you won't put down your flag? I understand the code of the street, and I understand that, they'll hurt you for putting down your flag. But we're hurting ourselves when you keep it on. So we got a lot to think about there, right, people? Okay, so politics manipulating our culture. So the good thing is, back in I think it was like 2012, one of Reverend Jackson's former workers, Frank Watkins, he passed away. Rest in peace, Frank Watkins, with Reverend Jesse Jackson and the Rainbow Push. He was his political consultant. He told me physically out of his mouth on the phone, Jineea, look, if you don't get into politics, then your lifestyles will never change. What? If we don't get into politics, our lifestyles will never change. Wow. Okay. That's crazy. So that's when I started taking politics very, very seriously. Okay. Because I was like, what do you mean if we don't get into politics? It's truth. And something came up. So he told me about how every 10 years you can redistrict, the gerrymandering that's going on right now. And he said, it's simple. He said, if we're not prepared, and if we're not, every 10 years, you get to redistrict. And if we're always off course because we're not in power to do the redistricting, and we're not paying attention to what's going on. And I know that politics is not a new bill that we need. I know that politics is not, something new that we need to learn, right? But it is. We've got plenty other stuff going on, but take something off of your plate and pay attention to what's going on around you, because your kids in our world will be affected. That's a fact. Okay? So leaders leading people nowhere. So do we have or do we need leaders at this point? Now, the Black Patrol is out there and they're leading, okay? The Black Patrol, they on target, and, they're taking down the corporation, the Target Corporation. You will not be selling to Black people. You better figure out who else to sell to, because you will not be selling to Black people, because even the taste that's in our mouths, we don't go there. We'll figure it out, find it somewhere else before we go into Target. Now, maybe I want to see them Target online sales. Maybe we sneaking in there and online in it, but we're not going through the front door. So is this the end of Target as we know it? As for Black people, it is. Okay. So my book, Follow the Leader, see it up there, ask the real question: who are you following? Now, y'all all would like to say that you're not following me, right? You'll say that, right? You'll say that out your mouth. But sorry, my work speaks for itself. You don't have to tell me that you're following me for me to know that you're following me. And that's what this is about. Who are we talking to? Who's our leader? Right? Reverend Jackson has been our leader for years on end, right? We followed him. Reverend Sharpton, he's got a group that he leads. I guess everybody's kind of got a little group. I had a friend, look him up, Thornton J. Meacham Jr. He was 92 when he passed away in 2009. And I asked him, I said, Mr. Meacham, I said, were we ever together as a community? What do you think he said? Well, we'll be right back here on Millennium News 24, and I'll tell you what he said.